Hey everybody, we are live. This is the Calgary real estate show. This is not any support for the team that I won't name up north. It's just a lovely shirt that my wife bought me for my birthday this year. I happen to wear it today. This in no means indicates that I am supporting the team up north, but
I didn't
No,
even think
this
about
is
it this
actually,
morning.
yeah, this is more a reflection on Natalie than it is on you, really.
I know, apparently.
yes. Yes. Well, she
Hey, I
knows that
bought
I
it in
do like
February.
orange.
Yes, he
What's
does.
that?
You
Yeah, I
like
do like
you like
orange.
orange, and
If
I bought it in February in my defense. I was not thinking about anything. My life does not revolve around hockey or any other sport.
I had coffee with my friend who is down from Edmonton, and I said the same thing to her. This by no means endorses the team that the city you're from. She goes, "What? You're not cheering for the Oilers?" I said, "Listen, I am happy for my friends up there that get to enjoy a long playoff run. Heaven knows we suck in Calgary, and it's going to be a while till we're in that position." But and anyway, I digress. Welcome, Jaden. How are you today?
Loving life, loving this rainy day. How about you guys?
Yep, same
Well,
here.
yeah, well,
Sun's
I'm hoping
coming.
this is also the last time I need to wear a flannel shirt
Yes, or a
Hopefully,
sweater.
till like
yeah,
September at least.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, well, let's get to it here. We're going to do our weekly stats, our regular stuff, and then stick around to the end of this if you're watching it later, because we're going to do a bit of a recap on blanket rezoning. We're going to give the Calgary Real Estate Board's response. So that's the end. That's our bonus. So stick around for that. So a bit of a comeback here for both, a little bit on the new listing side, but certainly on the sales side this week. But again, I think that was partially due to maybe May long weekend, because we also saw an uptick last year at the same time.
Mhm.
So it gave us sale to new listing ratio of 115. That's the highest it's been since the end of April. Pendings of 538, which is kind of right in line with what we've been seeing. Days on market dropped to 18, and a slight bump up in active and pending listings. We had somebody comment on the YouTube channel, I think it was last week, saying, well, hopefully this is a sign of good things to come for buyers. And clearly the trend here is we're 2804 getting into this month, and we're ending the month 400, basically over 400 listings active and pending up from that. So that's good for buyers, right? Like, I don't think any of us are sitting here as real estate agents going, oh, this is just awesome. It is challenging out there for buyers, right? Trying to help buyers the best
Absolutely.
we can, but a little bit more inventory would not hurt. And that is what we're seeing as we kind of round out. This is the second last day of the month. So I kind of thought that May had 30 days. I had to look at my calendar. Every year it tricks me. So, uh, Natalie, take us back a
Oh.
year and let us know what happened.
Okay, so last year 694 in sales. This year 678. So we're down 2%. New listings last year was 841. This year up it's 851. So it's up 1%. Actives overall last year 3340. This year 3250. So we're down 3%. And days on market last year was 23. This year 18. So we're down 22% on days on market.
Yeah. So as I was predicting, and I think we all agreed with me, right? No, I'm kidding. I
Yes.
think we'll end the month. Yeah, we'll end the month very similar to where we were last year for active and pending listings, and sales will be very similar. So I think we're maybe coming into a slightly more balanced market by the time we end this month. And Jaden, what's happening in your world?
Yeah, really no change in interest rate. But I'm going to comment quickly on that days on market because, like you say, one of the things that traditionally happens. So if we talk about a traditional balanced market in Alberta, vastly different in Manitoba, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. But in Alberta, we look at, generally speaking, you have about 10 business days for conditions, right? So,
Mhm.
if you're right over the weekend, you have Monday to Friday of one week, Monday to Friday, and that second Friday is the day that your conditions are due. What we're seeing a lot in this market is if there are conditions, it's 3 business days, maybe 5 if you're pushing it. And so
Mhm.
part of that average listing, it's getting taken down because the condition days are getting pulled back as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I have to say about that is when you come in as a buyer, you absolutely have to make sure that your realtor and your mortgage broker, your bank, whoever you're working with, are working closely together to make sure that they structure things in the proper way and that you have all the paperwork and everything you need up front and able to be able to get that 3 days or 5 days. Because your broker should be able to say to you, like, listen, you know, you are super strong salaried, down payment is very straightforward. I know the lender I'm going to take you to. Interest rate won't be the best on the market, but it's still a great product. We can get it done in 2 or 3 days. Another guy will be, you're new to Canada. You have 1,000 different things moving around in your down payment. We have 26 account statements in order to track where everything is coming from. Plus, there was a sale of the geese and the chicken and all that kind of stuff that we have to track. So you're probably going to be a five-day guy at minimum, and maybe going to have to be asking for an extension. So those kinds of things up front when you're making the purchase, super important.
Yeah,
good. And that's such good information. That's a great analysis of that days on market, because I think you're 100% accurate on that, Jaden.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie, you were going to say something?
No, I just agreed with you. That's all.
We're such agreeable people, aren't we?
So agreeable. Oh.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you missed it last week, the lovely polar bear breakfast, which is happening
Nice.
At the zoo, of course, not in my backyard. That'd be kind of cool, our backyard. No, not really. They would eat us. They're so cute. And then you realize they would eat you if you're just standing there. So that is not like breakfast with polar bears, but it's like an early access thing. If you've ever been to Disney World or Disneyland, they have that early access hour. So that'd be kind of cool. There's still toddler time, Jaden, until the end of May. I think that might end tomorrow. So one last chance.
No, you know what? I actually went to the zoo on a field trip on Tuesday with my son. The polar bear exhibit is amazing. The otter place there is amazing. If you haven't been to the zoo this year, get you like that. When we're actually going to go for brunch on Sunday. It is an amazing experience.
Oh, nice.
That's very cool. Very, very cool. Rock the Nation at Studio Bell. And then I'm just going to pull up, I just want to pull up the website here because I think this is such a Calgary tradition. Yes, Natalie.
You missed my whole presentation.
No, we're coming back to it.
Oh, we are? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, because I changed the order last week when you weren't here, and so we do yours at the end. So Lilac Perfect. Fest happening on 4th Street. I know that our daughter Sydney is heading down there. Super fun vendors and shows and bouncy castles. So you can see the map there. So essentially it goes from 12th Ave all the way down to Elbow Drive. So the only thing I would say is good luck with parking. Take transit if you can.
Take transit.
But, we did that with the Calgary Marathon last weekend. And it was super fun. Our daughter did a great job. And so congrats
she did amazing.
To her. Yes.
Yep.
So there you go. Now I wouldn't have missed this. Come on now.
I know. I was like, where is my presentation? Okay. I need to apparently be on top of things. So we're talking about the most warm, welcoming colors. Clearly not the previous house. It looks like you'll be killed there. Yeah.
You listen to too many murder mystery podcasts.
Look at that house. Like somebody's hiding a body in there.
Yeah,
look at it. Good. For sure. Okay. So we'll start with the beginning. So warm white, obviously, very light and bright, cheery, all that kind of stuff. You can add a pop of color with the front door as always. Beige or grayish. Both of these seem to have a little bit of a green undertone, but it's very neutral and it really blends in with the landscaping. Pastels. Pastels are beautiful. I will caveat this one though, because we are in Calgary. We do not have great light through the winter and pastel colors look like garbage in the winter. That's all I'm going to say about that. Charcoal, very dramatic, can look sort of imposing sometimes, but if you've got the right lighting and add extra wood elements, looks fantastic. And then earth tones. I love the earth tones. The one on the right reminds me of Craftsman. We saw a lot of that in Florida, and it's just a very comforting look, and it's very timeless. So that's all I got.
That's great. That is awesome. I think, what is your favorite there, Jaden? I like the charcoal and the earth tones, especially the one on the right.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, I would be with that on you. But I love that the color of the one on the left offset against the brick. I love brick. Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, brick is classic. That's great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we are going to recap. I know you've heard about it. We haven't really heard us talk a lot about it. So we're just going to do a quick recap for you on the blanket rezoning now that it has been voted in. I'm just going to share my screen. I thought it would be the most effective thing to actually just share the actual City of Calgary website. So here, if you want to get to that, if you wanted the link, try posting that in the comments. But here's rezoning. So they're basically saying we listened to Calgarians, the largest public hearing in Calgary's history. They voted to approve citywide rezoning with amendments, currently determining how these actions and amendments will be implemented in the coming months. Page will be updated. So if you want to check it out, go back to this page. So really, what does it mean? And I think that's one of the most important things. Just going to double check we can see that. Okay, I might just zoom in on that a little bit. If I can get back to the one I was sharing. Hold on one second. Let's just zoom in on that. No, that's not going to help me. So essentially what this means is everything, everywhere in the city will be zoned RCG, meaning it's going to be easier and legal to build various types of homes in our communities. This will increase housing options for everyone. Existing homes can be replaced with new single detached homes. So I think that's important to note too. They're not outlawing or banning single family detached. People with properties that only allow single or semi-detached homes are going to have more options. Proposed redevelopments will still be reviewed in detail to ensure they remain compatible with the surrounding community. I think that's an important point that maybe got lost, because that would be important to me if I was living in a community. We're blanket rezoned here in Woodbine, so that's a really important note. Parks or green space are going to remain the same. Apartment buildings cannot be built on parcels where single detached homes are today. So even if you have this massive lot, they can't throw a apartment building on that. And there's still going to be a development permit process. The landowner will need to apply for redevelopment and building permits. So we're not going to go through all of this. Essentially, this is what's being proposed right here. So this RCG is currently a land use district or zone used in development in the developed areas. I don't need to tell you how I'm doing right now, how you're doing. This district has contextual rules that take into account the existing style of homes around the redevelopment site. So they can be a max of 11 meters high. What is that, like 30? I guess that's fairly normal.
That's
so
a
what's going to be
3-story.
allowed? Yeah, it's 3-story. So single detached, semi-detached, row house, fourplex, and townhome. So there can be 75 units per hectare. There needs to be a minimum of half a parking stall per unit minimum. This is where I have an issue. If I'm living in an area like that, you're telling me that there's only half a car per unit? Typically, most people in Calgary have one car. We have one car now, we're down to one vehicle. But the average person, my daughter lives in Britannia and she has a car, right? Like, I think that's a miss. And I know there was an amendment that got voted down, I believe, to make that difference. Here's the different land use designations. So here's some examples here. So essentially, you can actually enter in your address here to see if you've been, what the actual rezoning is. Those are beautiful townhouses right there. But that's a great example, right? Like, part of what they're saying is, and if you scroll to the top here, so a greater variety of housing in all communities across the city. Here's our challenge. You go to, let's use Forest Lawn or Southview or one of the lower priced areas in Calgary. You're still going to pay $400,000 to $500,000. You can have all the building costs. The challenge, and our Calgary Real Estate Board chief economist, Anne-Marie Laurie, did actually appear at the hearings. And what she said was, this will not address our biggest need, which is the under $500,000 segment. And I think simple math would essentially do that for you, right? Because our house prices are continuing to go up, even for pretty much knockdowns. In some communities, you're $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. We have clients right now, Natalie, in Mount Pleasant. Yeah. And you were doing a bit of an analysis, and tell us what you were finding there with even like knockdown old homes.
Yeah, the knockdown old homes in Mount Pleasant were being listed at $899 and selling for $989. And it's not, and there was one corner lot, so you could probably get 5 or 6 units on that, or 4 or 5, depending on how they configure it.
Yep.
But the other one was just a regular size lot. And it's like you're basically spending $900,000 for a knockdown lot. So you can't tell me that a developer is going to come in, put up 2 townhouses or a duplex or whatever in that spot, and then only charge 500,000. Like, that's not realistic. It's going to be, if you look at the prices, and we've been looking at a lot of duplexes and townhomes in the last several months, the average town or duplex, like a small duplex in like a suburb, like a far south suburb, is selling on average for 600 to 660 or 665 or something like that. And a townhouse is going for, 475 to 600. It's bonkers. And that's all the way down in the south. So I think if you're in a more established neighborhood like we are, you get into a neighborhood like this and you put up townhomes, they're going to be selling for 650, 700. Like, wouldn't you think, in that kind of range? It's sort of ridiculous to think that that's making an affordable housing option for people.
Yeah, exactly. And here I'm 100% in favor of adding more affordable housing units, but
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot of different ways to do that. We've talked about the Greyhound bus depot. That's still sitting vacant. There's the land that the former Ernest Manning High School used to be on, in a great area close to downtown. Like, there should be affordable housing units built in those areas, right? So here's Krebs, Calgary Real Estate Board's official response, and essentially there needs to be more of a nuance. And this is their response, and it didn't matter because it got voted in. But hopefully, we're, as a stakeholder, we'll have some, I guess, influence. But I guess time will tell. So our chair of our Government Standing Relations Committee, Hong Wang, said blanket rezoning is not the right solution to address Calgary's housing challenges. It poses a significant risk to communities, driving up the level of congestion, as I pointed out earlier, in neighborhoods, and putting added strain on infrastructure and service quality. We oppose this approach and advocate for a more community-focused strategy to respond to Calgary's housing shortage, shifting the focus away from generalized housing crisis to the housing supply crisis that blanket zoning will make worse. Interesting. So again, and we're in the same boat here. We acknowledge the need to address housing affordability. It's something our organization is deeply invested in through Krebs Realtor Community Foundation, and we believe that a targeted approach to zoning is the most prudent course of action. By prioritizing sustainable growth practices and engaging in robust community consultation, we can strike a balance between housing need and neighborhood preservation. And I think that's a really important comment. And so Anne-Marie Lurie said we had a substantial population growth over a short period of time. So we had 26,000 people just migrate into Alberta from other provinces in 2023. That was 6% growth, which doubled, I believe that doubled Edmonton's growth even, and it only Halifax grew, and every other major city in Calgary shrunk in 2023. So causing both rents and home prices to rise in Calgary, said Anne-Marie Lurie, the blanket rezoning will not address the problems associated with a lack of affordable rental product, which would require a large-scale approach with focus on communities with underutilized city land, as we were talking about, that have access to transit and community amenities. And I know that, and I'm not trying to be political, but I know one of the Conservatives nationally, their proposals is that there has to be an incentive for cities to get the money to develop these underutilized lands. And I like that concept because it will help in the long run address true housing affordability. So that is, I just wanted to do a bit of a recap because we've talked about it. We haven't actually shown, like, here's actually what's happening. But reach out if you have questions, right? Like, we're here to help. Do we have all the answers? Absolutely not. But certainly we can have a conversation about it. There are some people that are going to be moving out of their neighborhoods. I saw the friend Sean Getty at eXp Realty they were doing some door knocking in an older community, and there are people that are selling, right? Because they're blanket rezoned in that community, and there will be row townhouses and sixplexes going up in their community. It's going to happen. So anyway. Yeah. So that's about it for this week. Thank you for sticking around. I know that was a long one, but we did want to get that information out to you. And Jaden, go Dallas.
Go Dallas. Go Dallas.
All right. Thanks, Jaden. Thanks, Natalie. We'll talk to everyone in 7 days.
Bye.